Hi, I'm Kato. You know who everyone loves? Him. He's considered the greatest Disney villain ever created. It's Magnifico from Wish, baby! Yeah! No, it's Scar. I'm talking about Scar. Did you know that Scar's name used to be Taka, which means garbage? That would sure be an interesting fact if it wasn't false and spread by people who don't know any better. That's right. Scar's name isn't really Taka. Nothing agitates me more than seeing this particular image that has cemented this falsehood into people's heads. If you haven't seen it before, a screenshot of a thread on Tumblr detailing how Scar got his name and Scar with additions by other users went decently viral across all platforms. The post goes like this. I don't usually comment on posts, but fun Disney fact. Before Scar got his scar, which was given to him by a wildebeest after an incident involving Mufasa, his name was Taka. He requested to be called Scar after the incident because he's overly dramatic, as we all know. My source for this fact is the Lion King novel series, and another user states the translation of Taka and Swahili meaning garbage, while another is surprised at the supposed existence of a Lion King novel series. The biggest problem is that this fact is more akin to a fabrication of information to make Disney's lore sound way cooler than what it is. You see, this story of Scar's real name being Taka does exist, but it's not a novel, it's a picture book. Specifically, a picture book box set called The Lion King 6 New Adventure Series. I have no idea why anyone would call these novels because that implies that it's for a mature audience, when these really aren't like that. They're a bit wordier than most other picture books, but that's still not even comparable to a novel. Disney has done novels on their properties before, but that's more of a modern take, akin to stuff like Descendants and alternate universes set inside Disney stories. Not something you'd see in the late 90s at the peak of the Lion King's success. These picture books are decently short stories, about 60 pages, to expand on the events of the first movie. Arguably more important, these books have been stated to not be canon. The writers of The Lion King have stated this before from questions fans had about them. These books were simply fun stories to sell before they knew they were making a second movie. Lion King 2 completely decanonizes the whole series, with Kiara being Simba's firstborn instead of Koppa from these books. Of course, this doesn't stop people from shoehorning him into canon by headcanoning him being killed by Zira or running away or something, rather than giving Koppa something he actually needs. A personality. But hey, I guess if he's dead or missing in action, he doesn't need one. Going back on topic, the Taka story is one of these picture books, called A Tale of Two Brothers. The actual story is that Scar, known as Taka in this story, is a dick to everyone, gets mad when his father has to fix a political issue, thinking that Mufasa gets more praise than him, and attempts to get Mufasa humiliated by messing around with a Cape Buffalo. Not a wildebeest like the post says, but that's a nitpick. It would be infinitely more fucked up and iconic if it was a wildebeest that caused him to have his scar. Scar is at full fault of his own destruction because he's motivated by his dad not fulfilling a promise and feeling like he's been left out. Unlike the other stories in the collection, this one's a portrayal of information, which is spun to both be don't break your promises and fuck around and find out. This book is also the origin story of Rafiki, but they didn't mention that in the post for some reason. What they did mention, however, is the other false piece of information, the translation of Taka in Swahili. Taka does not mean garbage. Yes, that's what it says on Google Translate. The software also translates Hakuna Matata to no trouble instead of no worries. Since there's no way to add context in Google Translate, things get mixed up or generalized unspecifically. The example that I'm using of this is that Taka does not mean garbage in Swahili, but Taka Taka does. While looking for an actual translation, I stumbled upon the r/Vainglory game subreddit where there is a character named Taka, and this correction was commented from someone who does speak Swahili. As this comment says, the actual translation means want, which fits within Scar's greed and jealousy. It's still not his actual name, as I said before, the books aren't canon. So, if the books aren't canon, what's his real name? We actually don't know! But the closest canonical answer is Ascari! Just like this character, who happens to be the first leader of the Lion Guard, which Scar was once a part of. This is an answer created by the creator of the Lion Guard, Ford Riley. But Kato, I hear you all yell collectively, how do you know the Lion Guard is canon? I don't think it's canon in my opinion. Well, you're right. but it's just a little more canon than the books, I can tell you. For one, it coincides with the movie canon by managing to remove the Lion Guard while Lion King 2 happens. Within the first episode of Season 3, it's revealed how Scar gets his scar, in which he's tricked by another lion who wants power and gets slashed in the face by a snake. The venom makes him more evil, which is a metaphor for a different thing that I will be talking about at a later date, but because of this injury, Mufasa gives him the nickname Scar, being both a pun on the injury and the name, Ascari. It makes sense. Unlike giving him some unrelated name and him being so ashamed that he wants to be called it forever, he's named after another character that was the first Lion Guard leader multiple generations ago. It's like calling someone Junior. If anything, it gives him a lot more respect to his name and not the sopping wet kitten story we got with the Tale of Two Brothers. So, now you know. And of course, it's all still up to interpretation and whatnot, but I think at least the translation is the most important takeaway of this video. I'm not trying to press in what is absolutely correctly canon no matter what. I learned that lesson with Renée Sucks, and I acknowledge that I have created irreversible damage to the characterization of Renée. Sorry. And yeah, this video is based on factual knowledge, but you can still call your sad kitty meow meow baby girl grown-ass man Taka if you want. Or even another name. I've seen some really cool interpretations of this character, and that's truly what it's all about. Tell me about yours in the comments. The best thing about fandoms and communities is taking what's given to us and accepting it or giving it our own spin. I'm sure a lot of Copa fans are people from the 90s when the books were the closest thing to canon. I personally believe that King Joe Great Fighter from the German comic A Gift from the Heavens is 100% canon. How could he not be? He gets hit by a meteor and scams a child out of food. He's perfect and I love him. Things change as generations change, and we should welcome creativity on both sides, whether you prefer Taka, Ascari, or your own thing. Besides, it's not like Disney will take a heavy stance on one side and create a shitty CGI cinematic universe